Are you looking for an inspiring listen? Something to motivate you? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Women of the Northwest, where we have conversations with ordinary women leading extraordinary lives. Motivating, inspiring, compelling.
This last spring, I was in Fred Meyer, and this young man that I'd helped in the fall, but he came up to me afterwards and he said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I remember you. You helped me pick out all those cool clothes. And when I said I wanted a wallet, you kindly told me that that was not one of the things that I could get." He said, "But then after we went through checkout, you bought the wallet." And he pulled it out of his back pocket and he said, "And I still have it."
All right, Teresa Turner. Nice to have you with me today.
Jan, thank you so much for asking me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Have you been on a podcast interview before?
I have not.
So this is a new experience.
It is.
Well, you couldn't have picked a better one to be on, I'd say.
I would agree.
I'm a little partial to it. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You're kind of involved in a few things here, but what, how long have you lived here in Oregon? Are you a native of this area? You're from
No,
some
my
new
husband
plant?
Bruce and I moved here from Santa Cruz in 2006, and I moved here to take a job with Ingram Marine.
Oh,
So I was headhunted to be their general manager, and that was the time before they were on a computer system. They were still in the old building, and so I came right about the time when they were moving into their brand new, beautiful building that they built. So,
huh.
and yeah, and before that, Santa Cruz, we lived in the LA area. And all that time I've been in the marine industry.
Oh.
And I guess an interesting fact would be I never intended to be in business. What I really wanted to be was an opera singer.
Oh,
And so that's where I got my degree in singing. And I sang
Really?
opera for about 12 years professionally. And then at some point I gave it up and went a completely different direction and ended up here in Astoria. And in the middle of that, I also did some mountain climbing, love to hike, love to climb.
well,
we kayak.
perfect place for that.
Exactly.
For
So,
all
yeah.
those outdoor things. So opera, have you been to the part of the opera event that's in Astoria?
I've been to some of their
Cascadia.
performances. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not really gotten involved with that group. I did work with the Astoria Music Festival when they were on, and we hosted some of the musicians here at the house, and it was a wonderful event. Sad to see it not here anymore.
I know.
But yeah, I think what Bernice is doing with the opera
Really?
company with Cascadia is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. And she has her interview. I have an interview with her.
I heard it. Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah. Yeah. She's something else. Yeah. So you're here and now you started, you just couldn't, you retired and you needed something to get your fingers into or what?
Well,
Besides hiking and having fun.
Well, the whole time that I've worked, I've always managed to continue to hike and climb and backpack and be active in the outdoors. So I'm kind of a all in or all off girl. So when we play really hard. And when I work really hard. So while I was working at Ingram Marine, I did all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And one day after we moved into the new building, there was this meeting that kept happening in the beautiful meeting room that Assistant Sleek had. And I worked late and I would go by and say, "What's going on in there?" Mm-hmm. And so one day I asked MJ England, I said, what's happening? She said, "Oh, well, this is a group called Assistant Sleek and you should join." Mm-hmm. And so I said, okay. I had not really done very much charitable work until then. And it seemed interesting. And so I joined, and then the next thing you knew, I was on their board as their secretary. And from there, it just was the switches on, and I got totally involved in all aspects of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So for 17 years.
17 years. That's a long time. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you must like it because you wouldn't stay with it.
I do. I love it, and because we do so many things that seem a little self-indulgent, like our traveling and our trips and those kinds of things that are taking care of us. I really felt like it was the thing that I could do that would be giving something back. And
Feels good, doesn't it?
it feels really good. And the nice thing about it is that there's a lot of behind the scenes work that can be done and that's needed. But then you get to go volunteer with the kids.
Yeah.
So part of what Assistance League does, our main focus is serving kids in the community. And so you get to go into an elementary school and interact one-on-one with a grade school kid, get them measured, find out what they like, what colors do they want, unicorns on their shirt, what do they want? And then you go shop and bring it back and you get to see how excited they are, getting those new clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's mainly clothes for kids. I mean, that's the main emphasis.
There's 6 philanthropic programs.
Okay.
And our main program is Operation School Bell. And it is also National's signature program, Operation School Bell. And its primary thing is it provides new school clothes to kids K through 12. And so for the little kids, twice a year, once in the fall, once in the spring, we go in and we measure the kids in the school. And we go back to our warehouse and we shop for those little kids, finding exactly what they like. Then we go back to the school. And the fun part is when they try everything on.
Yeah.
And then that's what we do for the little kids. For the big kids, middle school, high school, we actually do shopping events for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we've worked with various retailers in the area. Right now, we're working primarily with Fred Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go in, the school brings the students to Fred Meyer and they get a one-on-one shopping experience with one of our volunteers who really shows interest in them, helps them pick out school appropriate clothing, kind of tries to steer them away things that might be too risque or whatever. And really just tries to, get to know them and show an adult cares.
Yeah.
And so that's how we take care of the older kids.
How does Fred Meyer partner with you? Do they give you discounts or anything, or what are they?
They do. So we work with them in 2 ways. So on any given day that we're shopping, whatever their deal is. So for example, if they're offering $30 off if you spend $150, they give us that promotion. And so we just then say, okay, here's our base if we got nothing, but that we're spending. And then here is including their discount that ups the amount that the student can buy.
Yeah.
And so that's how we work in the store. For example, our budget, I don't know if you want to know what our budget was, but our budget, what we got to spend for the older kids this year in the spring, they started at $165. Then because of what Fred Meyer gave, it bumped it up to $195.
Yeah.
And we decided if they wanted a coat, a hoodie, or a pair of shoes, because they're more expensive, we added on another $50.
Oh.
So some of the kids got $235 to spend on school appropriate clothing, and they walked out with bags full of clothing. One of the things that we had to do during COVID, because we couldn't go into the stores, we couldn't go into the schools during COVID, the way Fred Meyer worked with us was we offer a voucher.
Oh.
So it's a $150 voucher that is given to the schools, and then they're given to the students. Then the parents take the student into Fred Meyer. They shop. They go to the customer service desk, where the customer service desk checks to make sure, okay, is this for the child? It's not for a parent.
Right.
And is it school appropriate? And then it happens on open account. And then they send us a bill for it.
Okay.
With the discount.
Yeah.
So we've had great luck with other retailers, but Fred Meyer was the only one that would work with us on an open account basis.
Yeah.
So that we could execute that voucher during COVID. That's when that transition happened to Fred Meyer's is, when we had to deal with COVID. So it's really great.
So how do you choose the kids?
So it's really up to the schools. So the parameters of kind of the student needs to be on the free and reduced lunch program.
Mm.
And so then the counselor, together with teachers, they identify the students that they feel are the most in need, and they're responsible for, making that selection. We really don't get involved in that except to say, we trust you. I mean, the counselors are the stars here. They're really, the counselors and the secretaries are so underappreciated. Because they have the hard work of trying to get the kids there, get the permission slips, get the bus scheduled, get them to the thing. And then we also provide some hygiene products for them.
Oh, yeah.
And socks at no charge, and also lunch. So and the local Subway works with us, or Fultano's works with us with a discount to provide. So the kids, we know that they're getting a good meal on the day that they come. Yeah.
Wow. What a treat.
Yeah. So this year, I think we're going to serve, we just finished our spring dressing, and I think we will close over 750 kids.
Wow.
Between the two.
Just in the county.
In the county.
In the county, yeah.
We do all of the schools in Clatsop County, including Warrior Academy in Warrenton. And I think there's also a special program like that at Astoria High School. And this year we added Naselle.
Oh.
So we go out to Jewel and Napa. They participate. And then we added Naselle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were delighted to participate in the program.
So you said there were 6 aspects. What other ones?
So in no particular order. And just to give you an idea, Operation School Bell, when we started all those many years ago, we served 120 kids the first year at $65 a student.
Wow.
That's how that program is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
So we have the duffel bag program, and it is a program that provides a duffel bag of items of clothing and items of care, like pajamas, couple sets of clothes, some shoes, a book, a teddy bear, if it's age appropriate, a book, did I say a book? And a blanket. And to kids entering foster care. Because as you know, many times those kids can't take anything with them when they leave their homes. So we keep duffel bags by age group at the foster care office so that when the child, they don't have to ask us, duffel bag is there, and they can give that to the child. That program also serves the juvenile department, kids in need in that department, and also at the harbor. We do provide some duffels at the harbor and some vouchers at the harbor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's a duffel bag program.
Yeah.
And then we have a school activity support program, which provides funds that schools can elect to spend on sports fees for kids who can't afford to, because if you get kids engaged in school, they'll stay in school.
Right.
So sports fees and activities and gear, or cultural activities like photography club or theater or band or music, or to go on a field trip. It's pretty wide open and left up to the schools of what the opportunity is. And so they make the expenditure, and then they fill out a little reimbursement form, and we send them a check for it.
Yeah.
So that's school activities program. And then there's Operation Scholarship, which is a fairly new program. We've only done it 2 years now. And it gives a scholarship to 2 graduating seniors of each of the 6 high schools. And this year, I believe the scholarships are $1,500 to a community college or trade school.
Okay.
Yep. And the students submit for the scholarships through their schools. And then the schools send the forms to us, and we review them, and then we decide which students.
I never was aware of that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's Cinderella's Closet, which we have almost 800 prom dresses that we store at a church locally. And for the school dances, homecoming, and there's 2 dances a year, the girls can come and they can pick out a dress. And so we have we get scheduled with the school. They bring the students, and our volunteers go and they help the girls. Right now we're just serving girls, really.
Yeah.
And they help the girls pick out dresses, and we have some shoes that the girls can take, and all of that's donated. everything. And
Yeah.
any girl can participate. It doesn't have to be, the other programs is
Yeah.
really kids in
Yeah,
need.
right.
We
Is
wanted to
anybody.
remove the stigma. So
Yeah.
any girl
Yeah.
can participate in that.
Yeah.
And
And
the
dresses are
last,
expensive, so.
they are.
But
And they
one
wear them
time.
once.
And they wear once. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's where we get a lot of our dresses.
Mhm.
That people that are aware of it,
Mhm.
they'll donate their kids' dresses back to the program. And jewelry gets donated. This year, Holly McCone gave us some beautiful jewelry that she just weren't selling or whatever to have in the program.
Yeah.
And the girls get to keep the jewelry
Huh?
if they want. And then the last program is called Outreach. And that program is really for emergency situations that come up.
Mhm.
For example, it's meant to be more like a one-time donation to an emergency situation. So during COVID, for example, we made a donation to the food bank
Mhm.
because they expressed that there was a need. We have provided some things to the Columbia Inn, the folks
Mhm.
down there.
Mhm.
There have been some things in Warrenton that we've done for food related things. Typically we don't do food and we can't really contribute to another nonprofit on a regular basis.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we look for emergency situations.
Maybe a fire or something or.
And the fire situation, we usually tend through Operation School Bell.
Mhm.
In our budget, we have a line item for emergency dressing. So outside of the normal
Right.
allocation that a school will get, if there's an emergency situation, we absolutely want to deal with that. And so that comes out of the emergency
Mhm.
OSB or Operation School Bell
Yeah.
budget. We also fund $300 twice a year for each school for their emergency closets.
Okay.
And so,
Right.
this is so
Right.
they have spare underwear, socks,
Yep.
sweatpants, shirts that they keep in the
Accidents
school.
or-
Accidents. Exactly.
You know, or yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So that's the full range of our
That's pretty
programs.
impressive.
It is impressive and it's fun and it's wonderful to be part of it.
It's a huge impact. Yeah.
It
Huge
is.
impact.
We recently did an impact survey with the schools.
Yeah.
That we sent out electronically to the schools to find out, we think we're making an impact, but what do the teachers think?
Mm-hmm.
What do the administrators think? What do the counselors think? And we had 130 respondents over the schools, which was a pretty good turnout.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we asked 5 or 6 questions to see, whether we were having an impact on attendance, on interaction with peers, on confidence, on academic activities.
Right.
And the choices were like significant impact, positive impact, no change.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got some really good information from that, all very positive. And then we got all these comments. So I'm going to show you these 2 pieces of, these are all comments that came from teachers. Oh. And if you read them, I would need to give you Kleenex because.
Well, read a couple of them.
For the most part, the print is pretty darn small. Let's see. It says, the amount of care and attention that each child gets from the Assistance League is highly impactful. Some of these students have never even tried on or had clean, brand new clothes that were picked out specially for them. Mm-hmm. Just knowing that an adult cares about them can make a difference that lasts a lifetime. Yeah. All of these were there was a lot said about the interaction of the one-on-one with the volunteer.
Yeah.
And
that's the same as being a CASA. When you come in and you're spending time with them at work, or being a smart reader or somebody that's sitting around and reading, they don't have anybody that ever reads a story just with them next to them or doing. Yeah.
Really Jen, we live in this little bubble.
Yeah.
I don't know how your bubble is, but my little bubble in my home here in Warrenton, and we travel and we do, we have a bubble. Mm-hmm. And most of the people we know are kind of like us. And there might be a death hardship or something like that hardship, but there's not that big financial that is really invisible. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. But you know what? When you are interacting with these kids and you see the number of kids and you see it. Yeah. You see how they come in You see, you see some of the little kids that come in that they've been already damaged by their situation. Mm-hmm. They're downtrodden. They're, yeah. And you see it and you realize, wait a second. My bubble is not real world. It's not the real life. I'm fortunate to be in that bubble. And so that's why I really like being able to feel like I can go out there and, in many ways, put my fingers in and try to make some small difference. And the reward that I reap as a volunteer, I was in Costco one day and I closed. So I'm head of school for Astoria Middle School. And I was in Costco and this little boy comes running up to me and he says, I know you. You're that woman who gave me those new clothes and I love them. And he went on, can I hug you? Right. And then he said, and I want you to meet my parent. And so he brought his parents over. It was just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
You made a difference. This last spring, it was in Fred Meyer, and this young man that I'd helped in the fall, I saw him. I didn't, we tried to have anonymity, but he came up to me afterwards and he said, do you remember me? I said, yes. He said, I remember you. You helped me pick out all those cool clothes. And when I said I wanted a wallet, you kindly told me that was not one of the things that I could get. He said, but then after we went through checkout, you bought the wallet for me. And he pulled it out of his back pocket and he said, and I still have it. And so you get to see that, okay.
It's not just a one and done thing.
It is.
It's something that affected a heart.
It is. One more story that I have to tell. We were at Fred Meyer this last time. I was there with my friend Tammy Aho, and she dresses Astoria High School. And it's very obvious we're in the store because we all wear red and it's an obvious thing. And we had finished and the children had left and we were kind of cleaning up. And this young man, an older woman, is standing by the side and he looked at us and he said, do you take donations? Mm-hmm. And we said, well, yeah. So he reaches in and he pulls out $20. Mm-hmm. He says, when I was in school, you clothed me and it made a huge difference to me.
Wow.
And my grandmother, who it allowed us to not have to spend money on clothing so we could spend money on food. I mean, I still have goosebumps thinking about that young man is going to come speak at our spring luncheon coming up in May.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very powerful.
Yeah.
Super powerful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think besides the helping aspect, I think it's just good for us to know as human beings how other people are living and barely making it and really how hard it is.
It is.
It's good to know that, one makes us appreciate what we have if we're not in that space.
Absolutely.
Or if you came from that space, I had many years where I didn't have anything, or I'm not quite at that point, but just, it makes you be more cognizant, and understanding.
Well, my parents
more understanding people.
My parents came from that background. My parents both dropped out of school because they didn't have clothing and they had to go to work. Both my parents. So I'm not that far removed from the generation who had that hardship. Yeah. So it's a wonderful thing. So
tell me about how it's funded.
Okay. So should I tell you a little story about how it started?
I love stories.
Okay. So because I knew we were going to do this, I actually called up our very first president.
Oh.
Her name was Barbara Glick.
Okay.
Her husband was here in town, one of the bar pilots. They don't live here any longer. And she and a woman by the name of Peg Steinmeier, I get that right? They decided they were going to go to Portland, a couple of their buddies, and they were going to go to an Assistance League luncheon of the Portland chapter. So they went and they came back all fired up. So we need to do this here in our community. So they got some people together, had a meeting down in Seaside and said, hey, we have this opportunity. What do you think? Or is there interest? 40 people showed up.
Yeah.
Yep. So they said, okay. So she reached out to National and she said, okay, we'd like to join, become a a part of Assistance League. Well, they put us through the ringer. First, you become a guild, right?
Okay.
And you have to sign this, like, you have to jump through all these hoops, right? And so they signed this thing in 2007, right? In June of 2007.
Okay.
And Barbara was the very first president. And so the first year, well, and for years we were a guild because there were so many rules and regulations we had to jump through that, we just couldn't get there. And then there were people who didn't want us to get there. There were rogue members who said, why do we need that? We should just do our own thing. And Barbara said, no, we need to have rules and regulations and an organizational structure. We need to do this.
Well, you do. And in the long run, you do need to do that because without that, it could just go any which way.
Well, you don't know how far you're going to grow.
Right.
If we didn't have that now, we couldn't be doing what we're doing.
Right.
We couldn't have grown the way we grow. Right. And it gives you instant credibility in the community as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So she stuck with it. And then in 2008, Liz Knutson took over as our president, and she took us to chapterhood. Okay. And she herded all the cats and made us all, I was on the board back then, and she got us in line. We had to sit through these horrendous trainings from National. They'd come out and they would just bore us to tears. But we did it. And
makes 100 women look pretty good.
That's right. It does. It does. And so we became a chapter. And so that very first fundraiser we did was a cookbook. And I actually have the cookbook.
Oh, really?
It's called Eat Dessert First. And
it was the day when everybody did cookbooks.
That's right. And so these are all recipes from members.
Best recipes ever.
So Cindy Libel put that together.
Okay.
And that was our first fundraiser. Our very first grant we got was from the Oregon Foundation. And then that just and then we worked off of the dues that our members have to pay. And it just grew from there. So currently our fundraisers are, we write grants, right? We also do a direct mail campaign in the fall, and we do the Home and Chef Tour. Home and Chef Tour, this is going to be our 15th annual. And I'll put a little plug in for it.
Yeah.
It's May the 18th.
Okay.
From 11 to 3. You can get tickets on our website or from an Assistance League member or from Holly McCone or Natural Nook. I think they're all selling tickets. They're $40 a ticket. 6 houses and a chef, a local chef will have a little treat. It's really become this event where you run into everybody you know, and it's just really fun.
Yeah.
So
that's houses to look at. Yeah.
That's another one of our fundraisers. And then we have done in the past the golf ball drop, which we get the bar pilot's helicopter to drop golf balls off of it. So we haven't done that for the last 2 years. We stopped during COVID and we just haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah.
So
maybe you don't need to.
And maybe we don't need to. So, but those are our primary ways that we fundraise. We've had accessory sales. During COVID, we did a pandemic porch parade where people decorated their porches. So we've done different things, but the most successful, those seem to be really, really working. Yeah. And there's some very generous people in our community, both businesses, like the Home and Chef Tour, the chefs donate the food.
Yeah.
When we did the golf ball drop, local businesses donated the prizes.
Yeah.
It's really pretty impressive, actually, how much people come through and businesses come through in this community, not just for us.
Yeah.
It's just super.
Yeah. Because the same people are donating to a bunch of other things.
They do.
It's going too. It's just like, it's a really good community living.
It is.
It's really caring people and a lot of outside of yourself thinkers.
Yeah.
For
the home tour, we actually, besides the tickets, we actually have sponsors. And then we have home sponsors and event sponsors. And then we sell ads in our Home and Chef Tour booklet.
Okay.
And so that's a big, again, it's the community coming together.
Right.
They buy a full page, buy a half page in that booklet. And that's at least half of what we make in that fundraiser.
Yeah.
So, but as you can imagine, it takes a lot of volunteer power.
Right. How many members are there now?
We have 90, last count, we were trying to get to 100. We had 99 members.
Oh.
And so you've got 100 women has this beat, right? You've got it. How many members do you have now?
174.
Oh my gosh. See, you have this beat. We need to get some of those members to come over to the Assistance League.
Yeah.
But, and it's like any organization, when you have that kind of hard work to be done, you got the same 20 people that are doing a lot of work, right? And you would probably know a lot of those people. And but it's been that way from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
If I told you today, I went over to the warehouse and I took a picture of the charter members. Mm-hmm. So up on the wall, there were 36 charter members to begin with, and they're all names that, it's Carol Van Dusen, it's Cindy Van Dusen. Mm-hmm. It's, some people that are no longer with us. It's Linda Kaiser. It's a lot of people that are still around and doing things and still involved in the organization. Yeah. But it takes that dedication of people like Liz. Liz has been president twice now. Mary Davies. Yeah. She's just like a powerhouse.
She's ever ready, Bunny.
Yeah. And so but it takes people like that. Every school needs a head of school. Mm-hmm. When we've got 30 kids coming to be dressed, we need 30 volunteers.
30 people, yeah.
And
is it all women?
We have some non-voting members, which we have voting and non-voting, that are men. We have maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But typically in the beginning, there were some men, but I think they just wanted their money in the beginning. It was all the names in town, right, that belonged.
Yeah.
But now it's pretty much women.
Yeah. Where would somebody go to if they wanted to become a member? How could they find out about that?
Yeah. So you can go to our website, which is www.assistanceleaguecp.org. CP for Columbia Pacific.
Okay.
CP.org.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there you can go and learn all about our programs and what we do, and you can donate, and you can go in there's a volunteer page where you can send a note that says you're interested. Mm-hmm. That will come to our membership chair, and she will reach out to you and, tell you whatever you need to know and work to get that hook set in the lip and get you. We meet that's it. We meet once a month. Not every month, but most months. We meet once a month at Ingham Marine at 5 social time and 5:30 meeting.
Yeah.
And then we have a spring luncheon and a fall luncheon.
Uh-huh.
And
so somebody could dip their toe in a little bit just to find out about it.
Oh, absolutely. And when a member joins, one of our things that we do is we assign a mentor. Mm-hmm. And so when you join, you learn about all of our programs, how you can volunteer, how you can get involved. We kind of run in fits and starts. Mm-hmm. We're really busy in end of February, March, early April with dressings. Mm-hmm. And then we're really busy again in the fall, in September, October, dressing kids. And then after that, it comes Cinderella's Closet. And, so it's a busy, but, there's so many people behind the scenes. We have ladies who go shopping to stock. So we have a small warehouse that's a donated space where we keep the grade school kid clothing. Mm-hmm. Well, there's ladies that do all that shopping. They try to shop locally wherever they can. There are some businesses like Carter's gives us a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And, again, the generosity of whatever. So, and we have some resources with national as well.
Yeah.
Being part of a national organization is, our website, for example, it's part of their national site. Yeah. We're a multi-site off of that site. Yeah. They've got a tech team to help you. Yeah. And so it's, I tell you, I'm a pretty cross the T, dot the I kind of person. And it is a well-run organization. The money that we are responsible for, we are really responsible for it. We're very transparent. We have systems, we have processes, we run it like a business.
Yeah.
And the board goes through this whole technology training, which I give, and they get trained on Google Drive and all the Google products, and they have role-based emails. We really do try to run it like a business. Because it is.
And I assume on the website, people could donate there as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah. If you go to the donate page, there'll be some suggestions of what your donation might pay for, or you can donate whatever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. I really appreciate you interviewing me so that I had the opportunity to put the word out
Yeah.
about the great work that
Yeah.
the organization is
I just think
doing.
it's neat, to have that opportunity to do that too, to just to spread what it is and what you can. A lot of people have heard about it. Maybe they don't know all the details of how that works or that they could be involved or anything else in any way. So yeah.
Yeah, we really, we really would like more volunteers, more members
Mm.
to get involved so that the work doesn't
Many
have.
hands make light work.
That's right.
That's the truth.
That's right. And you can do as little or as
Yeah.
much,
Mhm.
but it really, really makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you, Teresa. It's really been interesting. I'm
All
glad
right.
you agreed to do this.
Thank you, Jen. And I just want to put a little plug in for 100 Women because one of my Assistance League friends said, "You've got to join 100 Women." And I said, "What?" And I was just so happy to become part of it. It's just the easiest way possible to be with a bunch of powerful women in one room, making a difference.
Yeah.
And having that feeling of not power, but that sense of community
And
with
energy.
other women. Yeah.
The energy in
it is. It's awesome. And then to have it, to have a say in that you can nominate a nonprofit and then you can vote. And it's just been a delight to be part of that. So congratulations on running something that has turned into something so successful.
Yeah, it truly has. I think at this point I need to add up again, but we're over $118,000 that we've given.
That's awesome.
So
good job. That made a lot of difference. And it across a whole bunch of different things. It's not just one thing. It's a lot of different.
Yeah. Nonprofits that you may have heard of, but you really don't know who they are. Just listen to them. And I think it's amazing to be able to just say, oh, okay, that's the nuts and bolts. Okay. All right. I might think about it.
Yeah. I love that you keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
The presentations at the luncheons or the gathering that it's so they can't just drone on and on. They're forced to give a snapshot of what they do, and you can always go to their website if they have one. So it's you've done a great job.
And I think just having the ability from doing the videoing them as well, presentations, and have them on the website, it just makes it you miss a meeting, I can still watch.
You can still participate.
I can still participate in those. Right. You're welcome.
You're showing me how easy it could
be. Paving the way.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jan.
What an impact Assistance League makes not only here, but all over the nation. And it's because of people like you, those who donate time and those who donate operating expenses. If you want to be a part of this amazing organization, be sure to check out the show notes. Click on the link and sign up to volunteer or to donate. Enjoy your week and be the reason for somebody's smile.